Toyota's reputation for reliability doesn't apply to every engine they've ever built. Some of these motors run well past 300,000 miles with nothing more than basic maintenance. Others have known weak points that show up early and turn into serious repair bills. Today we're breaking down the 3 worst and 4 best Toyota engines to own, based on real ownership experience and long-term reliability. By the end, you'll know exactly which ones are worth buying and which ones to walk away from. Let's get started. The 3 worst Toyota engines to avoid. Number 1, 2AZ-FE 2.4-liter inline-4. If there's one Toyota engine that owners regret ending up with, it's the 2AZ-FE 2.4-liter inline-4. This is an engine that has given Toyota mechanics plenty of headaches over the years. Toyota launched the 2AZ-FE between 2000 and 2011 in popular models like the Camry, Highlander, Solara, Scion TC, and Lexus ES 240. It was designed to be a smooth, efficient, everyday 4-cylinder, delivering between 157–166 horsepower and around 160 pound-feet of torque, depending on the application. On paper, it looked solid for everyday driving. But in reality, it developed some persistent weak points that have left plenty of owners frustrated. One of the biggest issues is excessive oil consumption. The piston rings in many of these engines were simply not up to the job. Owners report burning a quart of oil every 700–1,200 miles, sometimes even worse. Toyota acknowledged the problem with official technical service bulletins, and in severe cases they even extended warranties or approved piston and ring replacements. But ignoring it is dangerous. Low oil levels lead to sludge buildup, piston scoring, and eventually catastrophic wear. Many owners end up constantly topping off oil between changes, which turns into an expensive and annoying habit. And this is where it gets worse. Another major culprit is the head bolt thread failure in the aluminum block, especially in early models. Over time, the threads can strip or pull out when the engine gets hot. When that happens, the cylinder head lifts slightly, causing blown head gaskets. You'll start seeing coolant mixing with the oil, overheating, and white smoke from the exhaust. Fixing it is not cheap. Most shops have to replace the head gasket and install special thread repair inserts. In serious cases, you might even need a new short block or the entire engine. Repair bills can easily reach $2,000 to $4,000 or more, depending on the damage and the shop. Many owners say they only feel safe driving their car after checking the oil level every week and fixing small problems early. Quite a few people have said they would never buy another Toyota with this engine again because of the constant repairs and the high costs. If you already own one of these 2AZ-FE engines, good routine maintenance can help it last longer. Check your oil level every week, use high-quality synthetic oil, and change it more often than normal. Keep the cooling system clean and properly filled. And never ignore strange noises or smoke from the exhaust. But here's the important thing to remember. Buying a Toyota with this engine without knowing its problems is how many owners end up with a car that looks reliable but quietly becomes a money pit. A lot of owners say they would think twice before buying another one because of the constant hassle and repair costs. So now you know how problematic the 2AZ-FE 2.4-liter inline-4 can be. Number 2, 3VZ-FE 3VZ-E 3.0-liter V6. Toyota also had an earlier V6 from 1987 that gave many truck and SUV owners plenty of trouble over the years. This was the 3VZ-FE/3VZ-E 3.0-liter V6. It was designed to deliver strong torque for off-road work and everyday driving, but it turned into one of the more frustrating Toyota engines out there. Here's the main thing. Its biggest enemies were heat buildup and weak sealing between the iron block and aluminum heads. One of the most common complaints is head gasket failure leading to overheating. The gaskets often failed because the iron block and aluminum heads expanded differently when hot. When they blow, coolant leaks into the oil or cylinders, causing white smoke, milky oil, and the temperature gauge to shoot up. A dirty radiator or weak cooling fan makes the problem worse quickly. Toyota later improved the gaskets and extended warranties, but many older 4Runners and pickups had already suffered damage by then. And this is where it gets worse. These engines also suffer from faster wear on the connecting rod bearings and burnt exhaust valves as the miles add up. Owners often hear knocking from the bottom end or notice the engine burning more oil. Most of these V6s start having serious trouble around 180,000 miles if maintenance is neglected. Fixing a blown head gasket can be expensive, and in bad cases you may need new bearings or even a full rebuild. On top of that, the 3VZ still uses an old-school timing belt that needs to be replaced every 80,000 to 100,000 miles. Smaller issues like starter solenoid wear can also start adding to the overall repair costs as the years go by. If you already own one of these engines, paying close attention to the cooling system can make a real difference. Check coolant levels and temperature regularly, flush the system often, and never ignore knocking sounds or rising oil use. But don't miss this point. Picking up a used Toyota truck or SUV with this 3.0-liter V6 without understanding its weak spots is exactly how many owners end up with a vehicle that looks tough but quietly drains their wallet on repairs. These engines can still provide decent service with careful upkeep and timely fixes, but they rarely feel as dependable or trouble-free as Toyota's later V6 designs. A lot of people say they would hesitate to go through it again because of the repeated overheating concerns and repair costs. Number 3. Early One ZZFA 1.8-liter inline-4. The third worst engine that you can ever have in your Toyota is the Early One ZZFA 1.8-liter inline-4. You'll find it in late 1990s to mid-2000s Corollas, Matrix, and Pontiac Vibe models. It looked good on paper as a lightweight and efficient 4-cylinder, but it earned a bad reputation for burning too much oil. One of the biggest headaches is excessive oil consumption. The piston rings wore out too quickly, letting oil slip into the combustion chambers. Many owners had to add a quart of oil every 1,000 miles or less after 80,000, 100,000 miles. Toyota fixed the ring design in mid-2005, so 2006 and newer models are much better, but the early ones often became a constant battle. And this is where it gets worse. The early one ZZFA also developed annoying oil leaks from the timing chain tensioner and valve cover gaskets. These leaks create burning oil smells, smoke in the engine bay, or spots under the car, adding more hassle and cost over time. If you already own one of these engines, good maintenance can help stretch its life. Check your oil level every week, use high-quality synthetic oil, and change it more often than usual. Fix any leaks or unusual smoke as soon as you notice them. But don't miss this. Even with careful care, the Early One ZZFA has quirks that make it more of a headache than many other Toyota 4-cylinders. Many owners say they would think twice before buying another one because of the constant oil checks and repair bills. That's why it lands on the list of engines to approach with caution. Up to now, it's been all about what to avoid. The engines coming next are where Toyota actually got it right. There are some really strong engines out there that you won't regret owning. The 4 best Toyota engines worth owning. Number 1, 2 UZFA 4.7-liter V8. First up is the 2 UZFA 4.7-liter V8. If there's one Toyota engine that stands out as truly legendary, it's the 2 UZFE. This engine has earned a reputation over the years as a bulletproof workhorse that just keeps going. Toyota introduced the 2 UZFA in 1998 and used it in heavy-duty trucks and SUVs like the Land Cruiser, Tundra, Sequoia, and Lexus GX-LX 470. It was built tough with a cast iron block and strong internals, designed to handle heavy loads, towing, and rough conditions without falling apart. What separates the 2 UZFE from many other engines is its simple, rugged design and lack of complicated emissions equipment in its early years. That's why so many of these engines easily go past 300,000 to 500,000 miles. Some have even hit over 1 million miles with proper care. Even the best engines need regular maintenance. The 2 UZFE requires timely oil changes, timing belt service every 90,000 miles, and proper cooling system care. Thankfully, these repairs are usually straightforward and far less expensive than the major failures seen on weaker engines. If you stay on top of oil changes, use good fuel, and keep the cooling system maintained, the 2 UZFE can easily deliver hundreds of thousands of reliable miles. Many owners say it feels like a breath of fresh air compared to other engines, strong, dependable, and surprisingly worry-free. Number 2. 1GRFA 4.0-liter FRV6. Another engine that you should not miss is the 1GR-FE 4.0-liter V6, introduced in 2005. This naturally aspirated V6 is praised by many Toyota owners for its smooth power, off-road toughness, and everyday reliability. You'll find it in trucks and SUVs like the Tacoma, 4Runner, FJ Cruiser, and Prado. What makes the 1GR-FE stand out is its solid, durable build that handles heavy use and tough conditions well. Many of these engines go past 300,000 miles with routine care. In 2009, Toyota upgraded the 1GR-FE with dual VVTi, which means the engine can now control valve timing on both the intake and exhaust sides instead of just one. They also strengthened internal parts like the crankshaft, pistons, and cylinder heads. The result was a smoother, more efficient engine that kept the same reliability it was already known for. Even a good engine like the 1GR-FE needs maintenance, and it still requires regular oil changes and timing chain attention. At very high mileage, some owners see minor water pump or gasket leaks, but those are straightforward fixes compared to the catastrophic failures you see on weaker engines. Staying on top of basic service, fresh oil, and timely fluid changes, this engine holds up well for daily driving, towing, and off-road use. Most owners who keep up with maintenance rarely have anything serious to complain about. Now, if the 1GR-FE impressed you with its toughness, the next engine takes a different approach but lands in the same place when it comes to reliability. Number 3. 2GR-FE 2GR-FKS 3.5-liter V6. Toyota introduced the 2GR-FE 3.5-liter V6 in 2004, designed specifically for transverse mounting. That made it a natural fit for a wide range of front drive and AWD applications, and you'll find it across Toyota and Lexus lineups including the Camry, Avalon, RAV4, and even the Lotus Evora. And what powered all of those vehicles was an engine Toyota deliberately kept simple. Instead of going the turbocharged route, Toyota kept it simple with a naturally aspirated setup. The all-aluminum block and heads keep weight down, which helps both performance and fuel economy. It runs Toyota's dual VVTi system. The engine can adjust its breathing on both the intake and exhaust sides for better power and efficiency across all speeds. What makes the 2GR-FE genuinely good to own is its combination of smooth power delivery, quiet operation, and long-term durability. The timing chain setup means you're not dealing with scheduled belt replacements, and with regular oil changes and basic care, these engines are known to go well past high mileage without major issues. Even a good engine like the 2GR-FE still needs attention though. Stay on top of oil changes, watch for any early leaks, and address unusual noises before they turn into bigger problems. Do that, and this engine holds up well for daily driving long highway trips. Most owners rarely have anything serious to complain about. The next one on this list proves that Toyota was building engines that last long before any of that technology existed. Number 4, 22RE 2.4-liter inline-4. The Toyota 22RE is a 2.4-liter inline-4 that ran from 1982 all the way to 1995, and it earned a reputation as one of the toughest engines Toyota ever built. You'll find it in the Hilux, 4Runner, Celica, and Land Cruiser J70 series. The E in its name stands for electronic fuel injection, which was a significant step up, giving it better cold start reliability and cleaner fuel delivery. What makes this engine so durable starts with how it was built. Toyota engineered truck-first mindset, prioritizing strength over performance. At the core is a thick-walled cast iron block with a deep skirt design that resists warping under heavy loads. The 92 mm bore and 89 mm stroke give it that low-end torque that truck and off-road work demands. The aluminum cylinder head helps with heat dissipation, and a forged steel crankshaft held by 5 main bearings keeps the bottom end solid through decades of stress. Toyota also over-engineered the cooling passages and kept tolerances relatively loose, which is a big reason why these engines survive extreme neglect and harsh environments that would kill most other motors. But here's what really set the 22RE apart from its predecessors. The switch to electronic fuel injection meant precise air-fuel ratios, less carbon buildup, and better long-term reliability compared to the carbureted versions it replaced. The timing chain setup added to that durability, though this is also where one of the engine's known weak points lives. Even a tough engine like the 22RE still needs attention in a few specific areas. The most important one is valve adjustment every 30,000 miles. The mechanical lifters slowly drift out of spec over time, and when they do, you get the well-known Toyota tick. The other thing to watch is the timing chain. Post 1983 models use a single-row chain with plastic guides, and those guides get brittle around 100,000 miles. When they crack and shatter, the chain can tear through the aluminum timing cover and mix coolant with oil. That's a serious repair bill for something that's completely avoidable if you just catch it early. Stay on top of those two things along with regular oil changes, and this engine has no problem reaching 300,000 to 400,000 miles. A lot of original 22RE engines are still running today in Hilux trucks and early 4Runners, and that's not luck. That's what happens when a well-built engine gets the basic care it deserves. One thing that stands out across all of them is simple. These engines last because owners take care of them. Do that, and most of them will still be running long after everything else on the truck has been replaced. Please subscribe, there are more Toyota videos on the way.